reaction, response. Do you have difficulty sometimes with reacting too much instead of responding? Do you sometimes put your foot in your mouth? Do you sometimes jump in and make rash decisions? Well, this is what we're going to talk about in this video. Response versus reaction, why you should respond versus react, and how this can have benefits in your life and what to do about it. 5 things that will help you orientate yourself in life. And they are working on yourself, diary writing, life story, like creating a life story about yourself, a bigger picture of yourself based on this, self-reflection and integration. And the idea being that if you work on yourself, learn about yourself, do some self-development, if you write a diary, if you then start piecing together your life story, not the generic life story you're just told, but your perspectives in your life story, and then you reflect upon it, and then you integrate it, then that will give you the missing pieces. And there's a philosophy behind what I talk about here. My philosophy is based on the idea that God exists, and God has a plan for you, and you have a personal destiny. So I'm not a nihilist. I know a lot of people are nihilist, a lot of people, or nihilist, whatever you call it. A lot of people don't believe in anything, think everything's chaos and crazy. I don't believe that. I honestly believe, although you can't know everything, you can know enough to solve your life problem, your life puzzle. You can find enough missing pieces. Now, maybe not all the missing pieces, but enough missing pieces to make sense of your life, orientate yourself, and progress further with your life. I sent this video to my brother, and he commented and says, very nice, but why don't you do a video about, responding rather than reacting? Because a lot of people, they won't be able to put this into practice because they're not capable of responding, or they don't know about responding. So that's why I'm making this video. Now, you probably understand what the difference is between reacting and responding. Obviously, reacting is just jumping in there, and somebody's in a burning car. Somebody has to jump in there and open the car door and get them out. If somebody's in a burning building, somebody has to try and rescue them. There's no time for thinking, it's reaction. If somebody pulls in front of you in your car, you have to react. So the reaction has a part, but 9 times out of 10 in life, we're better off responding. We're better off being tactical. And there's a huge amount of benefits to being tactical. So if we take, for example, this idea of the missing jigsaw piece, even if you understand these ideas of working on yourself, diary writing, life story, self-reflection, integration, even if you understand this, if you keep reacting to the situation, you can't apply it. I think that's the point that my brother was making. So how do we apply it? How do we respond rather than react? Well, the first thing we have to understand is a bit about brain chemistry. I'll be doing it. The next video will actually be on the 3 brains, but I'll mention it quickly here. There's 3 major parts of the brain that we're focused on, which is the brainstem, the limbic system, and the neocortex. I'll put the picture here. Brainstem is all about fight or flight, which is things like I'm either going to punch you in the jaw or I'm going to run away. So, for example, running away from the lion or tiger, fighting the lion and tiger. Running away from the other tribal enemy, fighting the tribal enemy, fight or flight, okay? And all that basic instinctive stuff. The higher brain we have is the neocortex, and the neocortex is about cognition and selecting things and so on. And then we have the one that connects the two is actually called the limbic system, and that's emotions and memory, the limbic system. And the limbic system will either put you into a kind of more cognitive state, neocortex, or put you back into the brainstem, the more reactive phase. And in the next video, we'll talk more about the limbic system, and we can actually train the limbic system to some degree because of brain plasticity. But just for now in this video, what about the bigger picture of responding? Okay, because that's brain exercises, but there's also a bit of a philosophy here. There's a bit of thinking we can apply, okay? So what I would say the key thing is that when we have a situation, our brain, and this is the big problem we have as human beings, is that we spend a couple of million years, chasing after each other with, spears and things, and basically being kind of very primitive, kind of fighting each other all the time. As far as we know, it could be longer, but as far as we know, civilization, we know it seems to be around for 5,000 or 6,000 years. Then we had the Industrial Revolution, started in the 1830s, I think, and this brought the modern lifestyle, well, like working in an office and stuff, or working in a factory. And of course, things have ramped up with cell phones and all that stuff. So we haven't really adapted. And this is, I feel, is probably the biggest problem we have as human beings, is that we've got this animal side and we got this higher level side. Okay, we all know this, but why is the problem? The problem is that our basic hardware is designed to survive in a fight-flight mode. It's designed in this to be very reactive, to be very instinctive, to be very communal based, etc. And the higher level thinking is something that largely has come in more recent times. Now, it's not that primitive people tens of thousands of years ago couldn't think highly. They could think highly, but there wasn't the level of abstraction required in daily life. So by and large, they didn't need to think. Yeah, they could think highly about certain things. They could be very philosophical and so on. But in our present age, there's more and more of a need. And even back then, the people who could think more strategically, the people who could respond to a situation, these people did better than the people who are just reacting. But back those days, thousands of years ago, you could kind of react most of the time and get by. This day and age, reaction is not a good idea because we see, for example, a run on the stock market. People see the stock market going down and they all react and they lose their shirt, okay? Because you should not, everybody else is selling, don't sell. Okay, it's the golden rule of stock markets. So we have to learn to respond if we want to do well in life. Let's think of it this way, for example. What's the difference between a poor person and a rich person? The difference between a poor person and a rich person is that the poor person, they are continually looking for instant gratification. They want to daily wage hour. They want to be paid today, this hour even, right here, right now, they want to be paid. If you look at somebody who works a regular job, they're going to be paid every month. If you look at somebody who's kind of a fairly wealthy-ish kind of person or business person, they're thinking of maybe a 5-year investment. And if you look at somebody who's, say, very rich, maybe he's got tens of millions, hundreds of millions, maybe a billionaire, they're thinking of a 30 or 40-year investment, okay? I remember some years ago I was in the port in Dublin. I saw this very beautiful looking cruise liner. It's a very amazing looking ship. And I talked to some of the staff who were on the port that day and said, wow, this is an amazing ship. And it's something like they had like 1,000 crew and they'd only have 800 passengers. There's more than one crew member for every passenger. I said, how much that cost? This is like maybe 20 odd years ago now. How much that cost to make? Says $1 billion. It's a lot of money. Now, did you think that they had a piggy bank and they just took $1 billion out? No. What you're looking at there are very wealthy people. And when you think about it, if you invest $1 billion, how long is it going to take to get your money back? Well, I'd imagine it's probably a 20, 30, 40-year investment in the world of ships. You're hoping that that ship will last 50 years and probably at least 20 years for the break even. So what you see where people who are wealthier is that they can delay the gratification longer and longer and longer and longer, which means they can respond more and more and more. So while it's good to have fast reactions, like if you're a racing driver or something, or you're in an accident or war, in your actual life, the ability to be strategic, the ability to respond instead of reacting is far more powerful. Now, although I'll talk in the other video about training the brain, that's kind of just rewiring the brain. But from a philosophical point of view, can you choose to do something different in order to respond more than react? Okay, because I think we all know we should respond more than react, but most people don't know how to respond. So in the next video on the 3 brains, we'll talk about training the limbic system. But on a philosophical level, is there something we can do to help ourselves? Is there some choice that we can do? Well, here's something I think is really, really useful. It's called a pause. There's a famous author, Viktor Frankl. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And here's a nice little quotation that he has. And he's a Holocaust survivor. This guy's, he had a tough time. He had plenty of reasons to react, okay? He was in a concentration camp. So he says here, here's the quotation. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Now remember, this isn't some guy that's being irritated because somebody, pulled across him in traffic or, he got some silly bill or something like that. This is a guy who was in a concentration camp, being abused, fear of death all the time, starvation, you name it. This guy is getting a lot of negativity, a lot of difficult situations. And this quotation again, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose a response. And that's something that he obviously learned in the concentration camp. The power to choose a response. Now, I know it's not easy, but just try and get used to this idea of the pause. The next time I feel like reacting, I feel like saying something. So, somebody, my wife, my girlfriend, my husband, my child, my boss, somebody says something and I want to just give them a boom. I'm going to go and sort them out. I'm going to tell them. And of course, we say something that's totally not the right thing to say, a stupid thing to say, an insulting thing to say, a hurtful thing to say, or maybe say something to our boss, a fireable thing to say, okay? We have to learn to think strategically if we want to be successful in life. If we want to be happy in life, we have to think strategically. And so the pause just gives you that moment to wait, and just for a second or two before I respond. I just before I do something, I'll just stop for a second. That's tiny little space. And that is the uniqueness of being a human being, because unlike animals, we have that space. Because as far as we're, by and large, animals don't seem to have the space, or maybe some of the high level ones do. I don't want to talk about something I don't know about, but by and large, it seems to be a human trait most of the time. Although maybe some higher animals do this sometimes too. But basically, this little space, and how big is that space? It's big enough. It's big enough to stop for a moment and choose what I'm going to do, choose what I'm going to say. And this ability to be strategic, okay, it's good on, say, in an argument not to say something stupid, but it goes beyond that. It's also good in many aspects of our life, how we deal with situations. Like right now, for example, we've got the coronavirus in the world, and there's so many traumatic problems that causes, and people have to make big decisions. So it's not always that we have to make a decision in a second, which obviously we have to do in an argument, for example. But when we're talking about making life decisions, maybe I have 24 hours, maybe I have 24 days. We can still react rather than respond. We could still jump in too quickly and not consider all the possibilities. So again, just learning to stand back. If it's in, say an argument or something, yeah, stand back for a second or two. If it's making a big life choice, or where you work, where you study, who you live with, you can stand back for like 5 minutes. You can stand back for 5 hours. Stand back and pause for a second. Stand back from the drama. Okay? Get off the roller coaster for a minute and just think. Take a break. Go for a walk by the ocean. Okay? Go for a walk in the park. Listen to some nice music. Do something to distract yourself. And then think, what do I do next? What do I do next? That is strategic thinking. And if you want a more successful, happier life, you have to get used to trying to think more strategically. Okay? So that's what I can say on a philosophical level of dealing with, let's say, the pause, for example, is that's a very empowering thing. The last thing I want to say before finishing the video, and remember, please check the next video because we have some brain training exercises. The next one as well is just understanding when we're looking at reacting or responding to somebody. Often we react to people because we're judgmental. We're judging the person, we're judging the situation. So what to do in this situation? Well, again, we can use our higher level thinking, be philosophical, and realize that people have different programming and people have different perspectives. And everybody's not going to think the way that you're going to think. And that before I react to somebody being different to me, having a different way of thinking to me, again, I can stand back and choose how I'm going to react. And if I develop this philosophical understanding that people are different, that their conditioning, their life experience, their life perspectives is different, and that doesn't make them wrong and that doesn't make me right, just different. And again, that's something, because sometimes people are overreacting to situations because they expect people to be a certain way. So for example, in romantic relationships, raised into a family culture. I mean, usually a lot of problems we have with a romantic partner when we relate to them, especially do things like start living with them and stuff, is we expect them to be like us because we were raised a certain way, and they expect us to be like us because we're raised a certain way. And the reality is, when two people come together in a relationship, they bring their culture, you bring your culture, and you create your new culture, which is a mix of both and some new stuff on top. So again, not reacting, but responding. So you can see the benefits of responding, but also how to respond. We respond by the pause. We respond by taking a philosophical viewpoint that people might be different from us. And we take a philosophical viewpoint that I should be strategic in my thinking and not just jump into things. Finally, getting back to the point my brother was making regarding people trying to integrate and change. Yeah, if you're reacting all the time, you can try and understand the bits of pieces that are missing in your life, but you'll have difficulty changing because you're continually going back to reacting with the old pattern, the old way, and having your buttons pressed the same old way. We see this, for example, in politics, for example, left wing and right wing, each one having their buttons pushed in their own way, and neither capable of seeing each other's viewpoints. Okay, so again, looking at that situation, we have to work at it. Please tune into the next video and learn about training your limbic system. Please take from this video the idea of the pause, and also the idea of understanding that people are different. So I'm sure you understand why we need to respond rather than react, the benefits of responding rather than reacting, but also we can work at it. It's not an instantaneous process, and the society we're in is not training people to be responsive, it's training people to be sheep. You want to go beyond being a sheep, then you have to work hard at learning how to stop and think. And it's an ever-ending process for all of us, okay? So that's it for today. Please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you next time.